Hey everyone, and welcome. So glad you're joining us today. All right, let's just jump right into it because we've got a really fascinating explainer lined up for you. We're going to visually deconstruct this highly complex, honestly incredibly futuristic cognitive framework, something called the Meksam SM knowledge matrix. If you're the kind of person who geeks out over learning efficiently, or if you're just a visual learner, you are literally in the perfect place.
Let me kick things off with a question for you. What does it actually take to truly unlock your full potential? Think about it. If you could somehow design a digital dashboard, like a personalized mechanism to monitor, measure, and actually push your own cognitive limits, what exactly would you need to track on there? How would you prep your mind for absolute maximum output?
Well, to figure that out, we're going to play the role of digital archaeologists today. Take a look at our source text for this explainer, the Meksam SM Knowledge Matrix interface. I know, at first glance, it looks like this crazy sci-fi heads-up display, just crackling with energy, data nodes, and readouts, right? But it's actually way more than just eye candy. This visual lays out a highly structured, very deliberate methodology for mental preparation. So let's break this whole thing down piece by piece.
All right, Section 1, the Meksam SM framework, the macro promise.
Okay, if we focus our attention right smack in the middle of this interface, we see the primary objective. It explicitly says, in big, glowing letters, unlock your full potential. Now, that is not just some random design choice. That is the thematic anchor. It's the ultimate promise of this entire knowledge matrix preparation system. Literally every single chart, graph, and node that surrounds the center is there in service of that one singular goal. So the big question is, how does it plan to actually pull that off? Well, to hit that ultimate potential, the interface leans on three distinct subpanels, and these basically act as the foundational pillars of the matrix. We've got knowledge network mapping, quantum state monitoring, and mental flow optimization. Let's pull apart each of these pillars one by one and see exactly how they tick.
Moving on to our first pillar, Section 2, knowledge network mapping. Pillar 1 of the matrix.
If you look over on the far left side of the graphic, you'll spot the knowledge network map. It's made up of these really cool interconnected hexagonal data nodes. Honestly, it looks super similar to a biological neural network, just, fully digitized. Visually, it represents taking discrete, separate pieces of information and linking them up into one cohesive, centralized web. And what this tells us is that within this specific framework, cognitive preparation isn't just about rote memorization or hoarding isolated facts in your brain. It's actively about connecting the dots. It's mapping out the relationships between different concepts so that when you access one piece of info, boom, the entire network lights up to support your understanding of it. Okay, Section 3, quantum state monitoring, Pillar 2 of the matrix. Now, panning over to the middle right panel, we find the quantum state monitor. This is a beautifully detailed analytical panel showing these overlapping orange and blue sine waves. It kind of looks like trying to read an EKG before you've had your morning coffee, but in the context of this interface, it's mathematically visualizing complex internal states, things like your focus, your energy levels, or maybe even your stress. And this does a brilliant job of illustrating a key concept: tracking the frequencies. See, this graphic implies that our cognitive readiness is absolutely not a flat line. It operates on these dynamic, constantly shifting frequencies. By keeping an eye on these overlapping waves, the system is basically suggesting that to hit our full potential, we have to constantly track our active mental state and make adjustments on the fly.
Right, Section 4, mental flow optimization, Pillar 3 of the matrix.
Dropping down to the bottom right corner, we come across this area chart filled with these mountainous peaks and valleys. Now, quick side note, take a look at the exact spelling derived directly from the source material here. MENTEL flow optimization. Whether that's some sort of futuristic linguistic shift, an acronym we don't know, or just a very intentional stylistic choice, that specific spelling is native to this display. Anyway, the chart itself is engineered to visualize and ultimately maximize your cognitive output. So the goal here is maximizing cognitive peaks. While that quantum state monitor we just looked at tracks your baseline frequencies, this optimization chart theoretically makes sure that your flow state is perfectly tuned for maximum efficiency when you're in that preparation phase. It's really all about recognizing the exact moment your cognitive output is peaking and then sustaining that momentum from the valley all the way to the peak. Section 5, unlocking full potential. This synthesis. All right, now that we've isolated all the little micro components, let's zoom back out and look at the macro level. When all three of those panels are humming along in perfect harmony, look at what happens right in the center. There's this incredibly dynamic, glowing upward arrow that literally breaks right out of the central circle, slicing up toward the top right. I mean, it is just the perfect visual metaphor for actualized growth, completely shattering expected boundaries. And that gives us a super clear, logical flow for the preparation cycle. Step 1, map the informational network so you can see exactly how concepts connect. Step 2, monitor your active state so you understand your cognitive frequencies. And step 3, optimize the mental flow to maximize those performance peaks. When you put them together, these 3 steps work perfectly in tandem to fulfill that glowing central promise we saw at the start. Which actually brings us to the end of our explainer today, but before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final, kind of provocative thought. We've just spent this time analyzing a brilliant piece of sci-fi conceptual design, right? But the underlying logic is honestly incredibly sound for our daily lives. How might mapping out your own knowledge networks alter your real-world preparation strategies? If you actually started treating your own learning process like this matrix, actively connecting dots rather than just blindly memorizing, how much more of your own potential could you unlock? Definitely something to chew on. Keep mapping those networks, and I'll see you next time.